Hello, this is Cat's Diamond Painting. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've joined me here before. It is coming up towards the end of May. I think I'm going to put this video up on the 31st, but I'm actually filming it on the 28th. But I'm going to be away this weekend at my brother's wedding, so I'm not really going to get much more done before the end of the month anyway. So yeah, I came to you the end of last month and explained this new way of working that I'm going to be doing, which is basically to just make a plan every month for my done paintings. I've been really enjoying planning out my month, thinking about what I can get done, giving myself goals. And yeah, I introduced you to my legendary notebook, as it says here. And yeah, said I'm going to be coming back monthly to do a month in review and plan the next month. So that is what we're going to do today. I have been trying to figure out the best way to do this. You know, whether I should just take you through everything I've done and then check back in here later, or use this to go through them. I can't figure out what the best way is to do it. So I think what I'm going to do on this occasion is work through my notes on here, look at them in that order. And then, yeah, if it doesn't flow right, I'll tweak it next month. But that's a me problem, not a you problem anyway. Just suffice to say, this is a work in progress. And if I don't get the format quite right today, then, you know, hopefully I'll do better next month. I have got 2 finishes to show you for the month of May. And I also have 8 whips going forward into June. I don't think I've ever had 8 whips before, so I feel a little nervous about that. A couple of them I'm kind of not counting, because one is just a mini set that I'm taking my time with. The other is a monthly mini set that I'm very deliberately only doing 1 of each month. Several others are long-term projects. But yeah, I would like to reduce that ideally in June. So, okay. Yeah, I'm in my head trying to figure out the best way to do this. Let me just refresh you on what my goals were for May. So my priority goal was to do a next row of my custom kit, and then I wanted to get a couple more paint gems done. I wanted to finish Polar Stroll. That one was a round diamond painting, and one of my 2 major goals for this year has been to always have a round painting on the go to get myself over my slight aversion to starting them. Then I was going to do a week on All Things Become Love. That one was my other major goal of the year, which was to always be working on my oldest kit in my stash for the Refresh Your Stash challenge. And then I wanted to start Ida's Little Flockers, which is a Richard Lorenz kit, one of my absolute favourite artists, and I hadn't worked on one in a while, so that was something I thought would be fun to start this month. And then I knew I was going to get to my next round kit as long as I finished Polar Stroll. Again, a little reminder, my rule for myself with these 2 goals is that when I finish a round kit or an oldest kit, I have to kit up the next one within that month. So by aiming to finish Polar Stroll, I knew I was going to be kitting up my next round kit. And I actually asked you for your input on which one I should do. And then I had to do my June monthly mini as well. So I had quite a few goals. I felt like this was pretty ambitious, and I wasn't necessarily going to get through them all, to be honest. But I thought, let's put them down, see what happens. And I must have just done an absolute ton of diamond painting at the start of the month, because I got through like most of these in the first 10 days or so of the month. I've not been doing quite as much the past few days, but yeah, I've got quite a lot done this month. Like I said, 2 finishes when I was only aiming for 1, and a fair amount of progress on lots of other things. So my priority goal, first of all, let's see what I can tick off. I mean, I've kind of spoiled that by telling you that I can, I think, tick off all of these, but let's play the game anyway. So my priority goal for the month was the next row of my custom kit. So let me show you my progress there. So this is my DAC custom kit that I got through the Treasure Quest reward program. If you want to know any more about that, like if you're not familiar with that program or want to know more about the image I'm working on, I did a whole unboxing video on that back in about January when I got this, and just talked through why I had chosen this and what it meant to me and all of that fun stuff. So here it is. It's massive. It's 99.6 by 69.9 centimeters, so I can't show you all of it. I'm not sure why that corner's got a bit curled around. I must have not rolled it up very well in the box. But anyway, this is all to be done. And this is what I've done so far. Let me, in fact, turn it on its side so you can see them properly. So, move my phone to the side there with my notes. So this is what I've done. I've done 2 rows. I'm doing my usual size of rows, which means they are roughly 10 centimeters high each as I'm working on my easel sideways. They're quite slow going because this is very heavy confetti. Although it's a Diamond Art Club kit, they do not hand render these Treasure Quest custom kits. They go over it a little bit, smooth out some of the confetti, but it's largely a computer render. So it is a very different experience to your typical DAC kits. I am, however, loving it. It has got a lot of their newest iteration of square drills, which is the first time I've worked with those, and they are a delight. It actually took me a lot less time than I thought. I thought it would take me maybe a week or so to do this row, and when I came to work on it, it fell over a weekend and I had a lot of time, so it actually only took me 2 or 3 days. But yeah, this is how it's looking. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, loving it. Very, very happy with this one so far. So that was my priority goal for the month, over and done with within the first few days of May, which was pretty good going. So let's crack on. My next goal was to do a couple more of my paint gems. Oops, I forgot to tick that off. I set up these little tick boxes for myself. There we are, all done. I next wanted to work on a couple more paint gems. So this is one of my whips. I started this one time late last year, I think, when I just fancied doing some minis. And then I found that I didn't want to work on the set all the way through. So now I'm just chipping away at them as and when I can. So this is the Space Edition. These are my first ever paint gems. And let me just show you what I've done, because I did get to these. This was the goal I wasn't sure I was going to get to. But I got these done kind of later on in the month when I was flipping between whips. So those ones I've shown you before. The 2 new ones that I did this time were these 2. So this one's a black hole and this one is Helix Nebula. I am not a very spacey person. I do not know what these things are, but they're pretty cool. I am enjoying my first paint gem set. I'm definitely noticing that the quality of these drills is not quite where I'm used to it being with other shops that I do square kits from. There is a lot of trash that is getting a little annoying. And when that is the case with a kit, I always wonder how it's going to be by the end, because, you know, I'm going through these, I'm halfway through, I'm getting rid of a lot of trash drills, but am I going to find that by the time I'm getting to the end, I am either running low on drills or all that I've got left is trashy? So we shall see. But I can tick that one off. The next goal was to finish Polar Stroll. I thought that would take me about 4 days. And here it is. This one is a beauty. So here is one of my 2 finishes for the month. So this is by Deborah Malcolm. I got this in one of the mystery boxes I bought in recent months. I think it was the Christmas Eve box. I have got some of them a little muddled in my head because there's just been so many of them. It is a 55.6 by 68.8 centimeter round drill kit, and it was really quite blocky, so it worked up very quickly. I actually only needed, it was about 3 days to finish this one. So yeah, it worked up even quicker than I expected. And let me just flip to my logbook so I can talk you through my experiences with this. Because this one I'm not doing a separate post review on because I don't have a whole lot to say about it. My thoughts on this one as I worked on it. I thought it was a really good choice to render this one in round drills. Deborah Malcolm is one of the artists where kits do often come out in round drills. A lot of artists seem to lean one way or the other in the kits that DAC renders. And I think it's because often the designs are quite simple. And so, you know, the benefit of the sparkliness of round drills really helps set them off. The sparkle on this kit is absolutely unreal. The drills were very good. There were a few misshapen ones, but no major issues. And the thing with round drills is you can get away with more trash anyway if you just place them carefully. You know, even little tabs and things don't have to be a problem. I tend to trash them anyway, but yeah, they're not a problem. The grid was fab. So what I mean by that is the spacing between the drills. And going back a couple of years ago, one of the reasons that I was kind of put off round drill kits for a while is that the spacing wasn't quite right. And I could only place 4 or 5 drills before I was having to really stretch them out with my multi-placer or take lots of time to straighten them out afterwards, because I have tried to not care about my drills being straight, but I can't do it. I end up faffing around loads trying to fix them. But this I could multi-place up to, I think it was about 10 drills if I wanted to. And that was nice and easy. So I really, really appreciate what they've done with the grid. And the other comment on this one was just that I really love the quad drills. So in this top part, in the sky, you will hopefully be able to see just here and there, you have these quad drills. So this really took me aback when I was opening this one, when I unboxed that mystery box, because I saw the code and thought, those are quad drills, aren't they? Starting with a Y. They're like Y198. But this is a round drill kit. So quad drills are, you know, 4 squares. So I was really surprised, and I thought maybe it just meant large round drills, but no, they did in fact mean the quad drills. What they've done is there's like a little more space around the quad drills. So whereas on a square kit, when quad drills are used, they will fit in very snugly. On this one, there is a tiny gap around it because the space of 4 round drills that it's taking is slightly bigger than the space that 4 square drills would take. But yeah, they work really well. It adds some texture and just like, it's fun. So yeah, I thought that was a really cool rendering choice. So this was Polar Stroll. Very, very enjoyable kit. If you like this kind of artwork, highly recommend trying to get hold of it. It was a mystery box exclusive, so you can't buy it off Diamond Art Club's website, but you know, you might be able to pick it up in a D-stash. Okay. I did not anticipate how much shifting around of things there was going to be to get this video done. Next up, I wanted to do about a week on All Things Became Love. I actually ended up working on that a little later in the month. The next thing that I got to was Ida's Little Flockers, but I'm just going to stick in this order for now. So I spent about a week on All Things Become Love. But as you may already know, if you saw my post review, I have now finished this kit. It did not take long at all. I think this whole kit took probably about 2 weeks. Yeah, it is absolutely stunning. I did something new with this one. Well, new for me. It's something that I've seen other channels doing and really enjoyed, which was that I did an unboxing clip back when I was about to start this, and then I stood that up, and then when I'd finished and did a post review, I put that all together in one video. So I did a start to finish, and that's probably my plan for all of these Refresh Your Stash kits, all of the ones that are a lot older in my stash. A lot of them I won't have even done unboxing videos in the past, but if I did do an unboxing video, it's going to be like 3 or 4 years ago. 4 years ago at the moment. I'm still working on 2022 kits. So that was a fun experience. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because I do have that post review if you want to check it out. But just some thoughts I had as I was working on it. So I said here it took about 13 days. It was really quite surprisingly quick moving. The outer parts are fairly blocky. There's a bit of a bit more blending of colours in these different bands of colour than I expected, but there's still quite a lot of blocking. And the middle of the cat, which I looked at and thought was going to be really intense confetti, just somehow worked up quite quickly. I'm not sure what it was. Maybe lots of small blocks of colour rather than actually individual colours. I don't know. It had 13 facet drills. They were all the drills from Diamond Art Club's first drill upgrade, and I really enjoyed those drills, so that was cool. And the grid was very good in general. It wasn't perfect if I tried to multi-place more than sort of 9 or 10 drills, which, you know, on a more recent kit I might multi-place up to about 12 or 13 drills at a time, and I couldn't quite do that without having to do some readjustment, but it was good. And this is a kit from March 2022. Of its time, it was fabulous. So I'm very much trying to remember that when I go back over these old kits, and not just compare them to what you buy now with 4 years of developments and improvements more in their pocket. Yeah, quite a lot of clump drills as well was the other thing that I noted. And I had the same thing on Weekend in Paradise, which was my last Refresh Your Stash kit. And I'm also having it a little bit on my next Refresh Your Stash kit that I've started, which I'll show you in a bit. So that must have just been an issue at this period in 2022. So that one got done. And then the next thing on my list here was to start Ida's Little Flockers and spend a week on it. Let me tick that off because I did do it. And yeah, I spent around a week on it, and let me show you what I got done. So this is quite a big kit. It is 70 by 93 centimeters, I believe. Whoops. And I got 3 rows done at the bottom here. So you can see there is a lot more to be done. But these 3 rows went quite quickly because there is an enormous amount of colour blocking, particularly in this bottom part. Like, I'm going to get a lot more of it around the edges at the top, but there is more bird detail at the top of the painting, whereas these blocks of colour were, wow. I'm not really used to that because I'm not someone that's particularly drawn to a lot of artwork that has, you know, big blocks of colour. Sorry, I'm just finding some drills that I don't think they've popped so much as I haven't placed them down right, or they've maybe moved when I was just moving the canvas around them, but I'm just pushing them down to make sure they don't come out. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I did get a bit bored with the ginormous blocks, but because I'm working on it in rows, apart from this very bottom row, it was always a case of do some blocking and then get to some bright, colourful bits. And of course, I love purples, so those are really enjoyable to work with. And yeah, loads more detail in the next few bits. The next couple of rows are going to be a lot more detailed because we're actually working on Ida's face. And then going right up to the top, we're going to get back to some more heavy duty colour blocking, but a lot of fun details to come. I feel like I've done the parts of the kit that are going to be the most boring already, and I did not find them boring. So I think this is going to be an enjoyable kit, which is no shocker because I love me my Richard Lorenz kits. But I did say, I think in the last video, that I picked this one just because it was in a box from that phase, that brief phase when Diamond Art Club first upgraded their boxes, when the kits were coming in a really thick box that takes up more room. And that was really the reason why I thought, let's get this one out of the way, because then I can get that big box out of my stash, stop it taking up space. And I love Ida because I love basically all of Richard Lorenz's birds, but she wouldn't be, you know, my top favourite one in my stash. So yeah, it's just goes to reinforce how much I enjoyed these projects that I'm having a whale of a time with one that is not my favourite. So that one we can tick off. I already did that. Next, I'm going to show you my next round kit. So I did this the 19th to the 21st of May. I did not work long on it, and I'll explain more why in a minute. I asked you guys whether I should work on Chill, Reach for the Stars, or Window to the Sea. I think one person liked Reach for the Stars, but that one was not popular. Quite a few people liked Chill, which was an owl, but the vast majority of comments that I saw wanted Window to the Sea, and I was happy with that. So that is what I did. Let me get Ida out of the way, and then I can show you. So here it is. This is a kit that came out in Diamond Art Club's anniversary sale last year. Wow, this has got super crumpled somehow. Which is, yeah, we're coming up to their anniversary sale for this year, so it's quite cool to work on this one already. I do find that, let me do this first. so you don't have all that crinkling over the sound of my voice. I do find that I tend to never want to work on kits that quickly. They often sit in my stash for a while, which is just like a weird hang up I have, I guess, about how I should work on older kits. So yeah, working on one about a year afterwards is pretty good going for me. So this is by the artist Mickey Senkarik, and it has 76 colours, which is a fair amount for a 55.6 centimetre squared painting. And as you can see, all I've done so far is one row. And I don't know what it was with this. I did not get into it yet. I've often said in the past, I feel like diamond paintings, they're a lot like a lot of other hobbies, but specifically for me, I liken it to reading, where sometimes it takes you a while to get into the book. You know, sometimes you pick up the book and you're instantly addicted, and that's fab. Quite often it takes a little while to get into it. And sometimes it can take me ages to get into a book, and then I end up absolutely loving it. So it's not a reflection of not enjoying something that it takes a bit longer. But this one just didn't grab me. There was a lot of kind of browns and greys and not very interesting stuff at the bottom. It was quite high confetti compared to my expectations. So yeah, I just didn't push it. I thought, I'm having a productive month. I don't want to slow down by making myself work on something that isn't grabbing me. And I know how it goes with these things. You know, I've been there before. I will do a bit more and see how that goes. And then, you know, maybe it'll grab me then. Maybe it'll take till the next row. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I know I'll get it done. I know I'll enjoy it at the end of the day. But I'm not going to force something if I'm not enjoying it. Particularly not when I have loads and loads of whips to be getting on with. But it is underway. So that was my next plan to tick off. And then the last thing on here was my June monthly mini, which again I have done. Let me move this out of the way and show you. So here it is. This is the June set. I was going to say set, but kit, I guess, from the Forever Young set. Good sentence, Cat. This is the June kit from the Forever Young Months of the Year set, which I have been working on every month towards the month, ready to have that month's kit ready to go in a frame on my desk. Whew, words are hard. So this was June. It's sweet. It's not my favourite. I don't think this one came out brilliantly. They are very small, so you're never going to get a huge amount of detail, but this one is, I think, a little bit clunky with the waterfall. Like, it took me a while to figure out what that was, but it's part of the set. I'm going to get them done. Don't want to repeat myself every month, but the same things were true of this one, that it did take a surprisingly long time because the glue is very strange to work with. Drills don't stick brilliantly, but then once they're down, they do not budge at all. But other than that, you know, the quality is pretty decent. It's very shiny, quite a lot of fairy dust drills and ABs and things. Not loads in this one compared to some of them, but there are quite a lot of shimmer drills, like going through the grass, trees. So yeah, got it done. That was the main thing. Now, what other whips do I have to show you? Is it just The Apprentice? Let me do some quick maths in my head and then come back to you with those. No, there is another one as well. So let me show you what else I've worked on this month first off, and then I will quickly show you The Apprentice because they are going to be a feature of June. Okay, so if you remember, I said I wasn't really expecting to finish All Things Become Love last month, but then I really got into it and enjoyed it, and it didn't take long, so I did get it done. And that meant, under my own rules, I needed to kit up my next Refresh Your Stash kit. So that's what I've been working on for the past week or so. This is Life of Tigers by Marisha Becker at Diamond Art Club. And you can see this one I've just taken off my easel, so I've still got my release paper set up for this row. Let me show you the top part as well. If you are interested in finding out more about this kit, I did do an unboxing way back when I got it in about October 2022. So you can check that out. I have also filmed a brief re-unboxing ready to do a start to finish video once it's done. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I am having sort of mixed feelings about this one. It looks really bright and vibrant, but when I'm working on it, there is a lot of 310 and darker drills, which is fine. I do enjoy that contrast, but I think the main thing is just the sections are going a lot slower than I expected. Like, it doesn't look to me like it would be super intense confetti, and yet it is taking a while. Like yesterday evening, I sat down for probably 2.5, 3 hours, and all I got done was this bit here. And you know, I'm not the slowest diamond painter, so it's deceptively slow going, I guess is the thing, which is just a bit confronting after All Things Become Love went so much quicker than expected. So yeah, it is beautiful. I think the most fun bits are definitely still to come with this one, because I've got the tigers. You got one tiger facing on, and then this one in profile, which I didn't quite get when I first looked at it. I just thought it was a slightly mangled tiger. So I've got that, and then lots of gorgeous bright colours up there. So I definitely think the top part is going to be more enjoyable than this bottom part has been. And yeah, it's not like I've hated it or anything. It's just not been my favourite. And again, I'm noticing drills that just, I do remember a lot at this phase when I was working on these kits at the time that I used to find I just sometimes didn't push them in enough. And then I just have to go over and, you know, roller them or push them with my hands. But yeah, it's looking beautiful. I am going to finish this row. Hopefully by the end of the month, the end of Sunday night, but it kind of depends how much time I have tonight and Sunday, because those are my only opportunities to work on it. So it may go a little into June, but that's fine. I won't put it away till I finish the row. But yeah, at that point I will be a bit less than halfway. I'll have done 3 rows out of, I guess it's going to be 7 rows, because it is 55.8 by 70.7 centimetres. So that is 1 whip, and then I have got 2 last whips to show you. So these are my 2 versions of The Apprentice by Cat Fedora. I have been working on these both for a comparison project, and the end is in sight because I only now have this much to complete. You can see at the top there. Let me just open up the other one to show you. So this is the original hybrid render version, as Jaded Gem Shop calls it. To me, this is more or less straight computer charted with a few human touch-ups, but it's mostly a computer render, which, as I've learned through this experience, makes it very, very faithful in appearance to the original artwork, but also super high confetti and a bit slower, well, a lot slower going than this version, which is the hand-rendered version, which has got some inaccuracies. There are some color changes. There are some bits that are just not the same vibe as the original artwork, which has a very soft look, and this is quite stark and bright. But I have to be honest and say I enjoy the process of working on this one a lot more, because this one actually works up really quickly. But any confetti that is in there is kind of more intentional, and it's just, the computer one takes a while. So these are whips 7 and 8. Or 1 and 2, I guess, if you wanted to consider them by the date of starting, because I did start these both in about April last year, I believe. But we're going to get these done in June. That is the plan. So, is there anything else that I need to tell you to cover off May? I've ticked off everything. This is my little list of what I worked on when, so I've just got my record so that at these times I don't forget to show you something, basically. And then I've got my May purchases. This was a comment in last month's video. Someone suggested I should make a note of my purchases, and I thought that's a cool idea, that would be fun. And then it's a bit disgraceful, to be honest. I will carry on doing it because it's probably a good way of holding myself accountable, but yeah, it's a lot. I've got a couple of Oroloa kits. I haven't shown those to you yet. I probably will do an unboxing, but I'm still waiting for one to arrive. I bought 2 DAC mystery boxes. I've shown you an unboxing for that. So that's not 6 new kits because I'm not keeping them all. but I am keeping 3 kits from the mystery boxes, 2 that I actually got, 1 that I bought separately. The Great Escape was a Lyubka kit that DAC released that I had to get. Italian Cafe I have on order. That is a Thomas Kincaid kit, which is not with me just yet. And then Louis was a Richard Lorenz kit from last weekend that I bought, which is on the way to me currently. And I'm not done because it's DAC's anniversary sale this weekend and I know I'm going to be buying again. So I will try for a more restrained June, because this is, yeah, unsustainable. So I am going to write up my current whips on a new page for June, and then I'm going to come back to you and we're going to plan out June. Okay, so priority goal for June. I have already alluded to this, but this is the month I want to get these finished. I'm fed up of them now. As I said, I think I started last April. It's been a long time. I would like to get these done, have a little break from cat fedoras, and then get to a new cat fedora, because I've got so many beautiful new ones that I've added to my collection since I got these. And yeah, I didn't want to start another cat fedora because then I'm just working on cat fedoras all the time. But I'm ready for these to be done. So, based on how much I have to go, this section on here I know is not going to take that long because this version works up quickly. However, looking at the hybrid version, see, I can't get it to unroll so I can show you. It doesn't look like much, but I know this is slow going. So I am allowing at least the possibility of this taking about half the month. I'm hoping it's going to be less, but I'm allowing half the month for it. And if this one takes me way longer than expected, like if I'm a week in and I've got loads and loads left on this one, it is possible that I will just finish this one this month and finish the hand rendered version in July. But I would really, really like to have it all done, and hopefully you will be seeing a completed project video at some point in June. So, finish comparison project. Approx half month. That is the plan. Hopefully next time you see these, they're gonna be done. Okay, so according to this, I only have approximately half the month left to play with. So what am I gonna get done? And I am away for one weekend in early June. I'm hoping that that won't affect this too much, but I really do only have a couple of weeks to play with. So I'm not going to try and do a custom row, a row of my custom kit this month, because this involves a lot of confetti. I don't think I'm going to feel like doing that as well. In general, I want to do a row of my custom each month, but not this month, assuming that allows me to get these done. Next priority is my Refresh Your Stash project, because that is my main project for the year, is ticking through those Refresh Your Stash kits. So, approx 1 week on Life of Tigers. Now, I said this last month and then surprised myself, but I really don't think that I'm going to get that finished this month. I think it's going to take me more than a week. So the only way that that is likely to happen is if my voice is going funny, is if this takes me a lot less time than expected, and then I really get into that and then maybe spend a little more than a week on it. So as ever, like, although I'm planning this out in minute detail, like it has flexibility. At the end of the day, I'm going to do what I feel like doing. So it's possible it'll get finished. I just don't expect that. If I do, then the next thing you'll see me working on, my 5th Refresh Your Stash kit, is Cat Bookshelf by Randall Spangler. I got this one in December of 2022. We're really coming towards the end of my 2022 kits. I think I only have maybe 2 others from that year after this, and then I'll be in 2023, which would be great. It's possible I have 3 more, but either way, I think within 2026, I can definitely clear off all of the 2022 ones, apart from A Magical View to Christmas, which I'm not going to start until it's the Christmas season, and I'm not expecting to finish quickly. But yeah, that is the plan. And then in 2027, and hopefully summer 2026, I will be starting to work through my 2023 purchases in order. So that is the next goal. So now that's about 3 weeks of the month gone, potentially. I do want to keep momentum with my round drill project as well. So I'm putting this one on there. Out of the 2, the bigger priority is Refresh Your Stash. So I'm only going to put on here 1 row rather than 1 week. So that should be only 2 or 3 days probably. So unless things go a lot better than expected, I'm really not expecting this one to be finished in June, which means I haven't really thought yet about my next round drill kit. But yeah, that's probably a task for July. Then my next goal is going to be my July mini. As I said earlier, every month towards the end of the month, usually I work on my next mini set. So let me just show you July. Oh, this is a pretty one. I do like that one more than June. Let me just check. Yeah, July. That one is lovely. And it does look like this one will work up quicker. These are always deceptively confetti filled, but this one really does have some blocks of colour. So hopefully that one will go a bit quicker. That would be nice. So at this point, with 4 goals, I have potentially filled about 3.5 weeks of a 4-week period that I have available. Some of these may go quicker, things could work out differently, but there's not really any capacity for me to really plan anything special with the remaining time. So I think I'm going to leave it quite open. I do want to leave some flexibility in my plans for just working on what I feel like. So it's quite possible I will go back to Ida's Little Flockers. I don't think I want to add another whip into the mix at the moment, because if I get these 2 done, that would mean that I'm finishing June with 6 whips rather than 8, which frankly is more comfortable. But I'm leaving it open. You know, if something else comes along that I really want to start, maybe I will. So, you know, it might be that I do more of Ida's Little Flockers. It might be something new. It might be that I spend longer on one of these other projects. I have a new kit from a new to me shop who kindly sent it to me, which there's going to be a video coming out on that probably next week. And I'm very curious to work on that kit. So maybe I would get that started. Yeah, I don't know. So how to phrase this? Go with my feels for rest of month. So I've got a shorter list, but that's because this one is going to take a long old time. So that is what June is looking like for me. I'm going to carry on doing this, my little note of what I worked on when, because that has helped me get a bit more organised in my head today. I will carry on noting purchases, but I definitely would like to be buying less in June than I did in May, because ultimately I don't want to keep buying kits faster than I can complete them. I'm comfortable with the size of my stash, but I don't want it to keep increasing from this point onwards. So it would be good to find some resolve there and stop adding in quite so many, because this is also just literally the kits that I've purchased. So if someone sends me a kit, you know, if I get sneak peeks, or sometimes I get offered kits from other companies very kindly, they're not on there. So it's even worse than it looks in terms of additions to my stash. So I'm keeping myself honest by noting those down. And yeah, I think that feels about right. That feels like I am all set for June. Let me know your thoughts about how you feel this video went, if it was easy to follow in this format, if it would be better if I just, because the other thing I was thinking was maybe to just go, right, here are my finishes and here are my whips, like I used to do, and then afterwards refer back to this and tick them off if I could, because some months I'm not going to tick everything off. So let me know if you think there's a way that would be easier to follow, because I do feel like this was a little bit all over the place, but hopefully when I come to edit it, it will seem a bit more coherent than I feel like it has been. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this. I'm definitely really enjoying this new series. Looking forward to carrying it on and seeing what I can get done in June, and hopefully getting these done. I have enjoyed the comparison project. It's been a long time. And yeah, like I said, if I can get them done, I'll have a couple of months off, and then I will pick a new cat fedora to start, and that would be fun. I would enjoy that. So thanks for watching. If you have stuck it out this long, please consider dropping a like on the video if you have enjoyed it. That is always much appreciated and helps with, you know, YouTube algorithms and all that kind of malarkey. And if you've not yet subscribed, I would love to have you stick around. If you're enjoying this kind of format of video, you know, I'm going to be doing this hopefully every month, at least every couple of months, unless anything significant changes. So yeah, love to have you here. All right, that's it from me. Bye bye.